A great on-court duo has always been the foundation of the Utah Jazz's NBA success. From the Malone and Stockton era of the 90s to the Boozer and Williams era of the 2000s, the Jazz seemed to always rely on the pick-and-roll chemistry of a maestro guard and a dominant big man. These gifted all-star duos share the same three factors. They're statistically efficient, extremely competitive, and outstanding during the regular season. However, when it comes to playoff time, they frequently fall short. Granted, Michael Jordan denied a lot of Hall of Famers their rings, including Malone and Stockton, and that the Jazz of the 2000s just weren't as good as the Spurs, Lakers, or Mavericks, who were the only franchises to win the West in that decade. But the small-market Jazz never seemed to have the roster, nor the luck, that can seriously compete for a championship. And it's no different in the 2010s, as Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell have added their names to the Jazz's long list of elite duos who came extremely close to succeeding, but failed. Both steals of their respected draft classes, Gobert, 27th overall in 2013, and Mitchell, 13th overall in 2017, formed one of the NBA's best duos. Since Mitchell's arrival, the duo won 60.75% of their games, winning 243 out of 400 regular season games. Despite the front office surrounding them with an able supporting cast over the years, the duo has never gotten out of the second round. The string of disappointing performances in the playoffs culminated in their worst showing, losing to the Dallas Mavericks 2-4 in the first round despite Luka Doncic missing the series' first three games due to an injury. That embarrassing performance was the beginning of the end as the Jazz decided to ship Gobert to the Wolves after 9 seasons for a significant haul of draft assets and promising young players. 2 months later, Donovan Mitchell was sent to the Cavs in trade for Colin Sexton, Lauri Markkanen, Ochai Agbaji, 3 first-round picks, and 2 pick swaps. The Jazz reportedly considered switching to a full-on rebuild. Yes, a full rebuild. Well, I guess it's easier to blame it all on Luka. Luka Magic turned a recent #1 seed team from 2 seasons ago into a full rebuilding team. Luka pushed the button of the Danny Ainge effect. The Utah Jazz is already showing signs of being a true contender. In their first game of the season, they defeated the recent NBA regular season MVP Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets 123-102. This is made possible because of this dynamic duo, Colin Sexton and Lauri Markkanen. Well, at first, I wasn't surprised how Colin and Lauri did about almost everything since it was just the first game of the season, and I really thought that they were supposed to lose that game since they were in a rebuilding phase. Well, 2 games later, they had a 3-game winning streak. All games were led and carried by Lauri Markkanen. As of today, the Jazz is several games over 500. So the question is, how is the Utah Jazz winning so much more than expected right now? Well, they have good offense, good defense, and they have Lauri Markkanen. They ranked 10th in the league in points per game with 115.6 points per game. The Jazz ranked 3rd in steals per game with 9.3 steals per game and ranked 10th in the league in defensive rating of 110.4. Plus, the Jazz know how to take care of the basketball, as they are 29th in the league for turnovers committed. Props to the veteran point guard Mike Conley for leading the young Jazz team for their season's hot start. Also, the Jazz are ranked 3rd in the league in three-pointers made. One of the main reasons is they generally stretch the floor very well because of the three-point shooting threat of their big men, Kelly Olynyk and Lauri Markkanen. To say Lauri Markkanen has been on a tear lately is a massive understatement. He's been averaging career highs in all aspects of his stats and is leading the Jazz in terms of points, rebounds, blocks, and in minutes. Simply put, these are all-star numbers from Lauri. His mentionable 2 best games of the season were against the New Orleans Pelicans and Memphis Grizzlies. In the Pelicans game, he filled the stat sheet with 31 points, 12 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. While in the Grizzlies game, he had another 30-point game. He tallied 31 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, and 4 blocks. These are huge statement games since his defensive liability became a concern in the league ever since the Bulls drafted him. Looking at the important factors, Lauri Markkanen has been a clear top 10 power forward this season. Consider this. Lauri is 7th in points, 7th in rebounds, 6th in PER, and 6th in minutes played. He's been playing way better than past All-Star players like Julius Randle and Domantas Sabonis, and his production for the Jazz is as valuable as all NBA talents Giannis Antetokounmpo, Anthony Davis, and Kevin Durant. Most importantly, these numbers have been translating to wins as the Jazz sits at 7-3 and third in the always competitive West. Squint just a little bit, and you can see the similarities of the 2014-2015 Boston Celtics team on this current Utah Jazz team. The 2014-2015 Celtics team came off a losing season that year, and they went on full rebuild mode. Nobody was even expecting them to win games early in the season. Also, this team made the playoffs. As you can see, this is the lineup they had that year. This Boston Celtics team won games because they moved the ball very well, defended their opponents well, and had veteran presence from players like Rajon Rondo, Gerald Wallace, and Tayshaun Prince. Like this current Jazz team, they are young and talented, and have guys like Lauri Markkanen and Colin Sexton that have a chip on their shoulders. I'm telling you, the Jazz guys have nothing to lose, but a lot to prove. We are not even at the quarter point of the season, so naturally there are still many questions left unanswered. Are the Jazz going to trade Jordan Clarkson or Mike Conley? This is what everybody thought they would do after trading Gobert, Mitchell, and Bogdanovic in consecutive trades. Will they tank for Victor Wembanyama when they hit a rough patch as the season progresses? This is very hard to assess, as even Ainge and the front office probably did not expect this good of a start. But let's try to focus on Clarkson, who is the Jazz's best trade asset. In 4 seasons with the Jazz, Jordan Clarkson blossomed into one of the best sixth men in the league with averages of 16.8 ppg on 51.9 effective field goal percent in just 26 minutes. This season as a starter, Clarkson averages 17.1 points, 5.6 assists, and 4.6 rebounds in 9 games. That kind of production, combined with his durability, 79 and 68 games played in each of the last 2 seasons, and salary, $13,340,000 in 2022 to 2023, and a $14,260,000 player option in 2023 to 2024, is what makes him worth a first-round pick. Easy. If the Jazz were to create a bidding war among contenders, they may drive his price to more than that. When it comes to trade rumors, Clarkson is not concerned about the trade rumors that are swirling around him and is ready for whatever happens, according to Complex's Mike DiStefano indicating it's still up in the air. I can see the Jazz keeping JC for the rest of the season if they sustain this level of play. The West is always competitive, but the Lakers are off to a horrid start. The Warriors and Clippers seem a bit iffy, and the Nuggets and Mavericks don't look that special after being hyped during the summer. In other words, there is a real chance that Jazz makes it to at least the play-in tournament. So, are the Utah Jazz legit? Consider these stats as of Week 3. 3rd in the West, 8th in point differential, 10th in points per game, 16th in points allowed, 10th in defensive rating, 14th in offensive rating. The numbers don't lie. The Jazz has been better than most teams. They may have found something chemistry-wise with guys like Markkanen, Olynyk, Vanderbilt, and Sexton who want to establish themselves in the league, but also have veterans like Conley and Clarkson who can show them the way. I guess we better #take note of this so-called rebuilding team that Danny Ainge has on his hands. We'll see if he will ride this team now or trade their veterans to try and build around Markkanen and Sexton. With 73 games left, they have plenty of time to prove whether they are really legit or not.